Hi, Julie. Emma here. I want to start by apologizing that it has taken this long to get back to you with your reading. I actually have my boy in the next room here, and so if he hears some sounds, I sort of can't shut that down. It just feels like it messes with his spirit to just be completely silent. So I hope it's not gonna interfere with the sound too much, and that we get the message out as we are supposed to anyway. I just have to move forward even though he's at home, or like my life will stop eventually when I can't get these readings out. So I have not your phone, but my phone in front of me with your questions. So I'm gonna look down here for a bit and just read through your question. And you only had one question, so let's see how much time we need on this. We're not gonna force it to stick around for 45 minutes. We're just gonna, address the question. But I'm gonna get into it as fully as I can until I feel like there's no more to give you on this topic. But it's a big one, so let's see what comes out here. Hi Emma, I really only have one main question, so if you could spend the reading on this matter, I would appreciate that. I have been out of a full-time job for almost a year. I have had many interviews and not one single offer. I'm trying to stay positive, but the reality is obviously frightening. I'm not looking for a new career. I'm looking for a place of employment that I enjoy, feel happy and respected, and pays me what I'm worth. So it's a good ask still. I would love some insight, guidance, messages as to the whys and the when I can expect the shift. I also have Saturn in my 10th house. Of career, I guess you mean, right now, and it went direct today. And that was on the 5th. You sent this on the 5th of November. And I don't know, did we address this, the surges of the blue light that we had on the 4th of November? So there's a lot of energy that has come to the planet on the 4th of November. And then your Saturn went direct on the 5th, it seems like. Then in between there, we've had the 1111 portal. And then today, when I'm recording this, we're one day away from a next blue light surge on the 18th of November. And then you have the next one again on the 25th of November. So this entire month, probably like the day after you actually wrote these questions, we're going to get into the cards, we're going to get into the energy completely. But just the feeling is that probably like the second you finished writing this, I think you wrote that you also were feeling sick. So you probably have been feeling this one. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you got 100 messages saying, we want you to come to this job interview and whatever. It just feels like this is when the time of movement has started to shift for everyone, and definitely for you, because of these energy changes, these energy surges, these solar flares, this just a lot of energy. And this is why I postponed the videos, because I've been quite a mess myself, not necessarily physically, but emotionally and mentally. A lot of old stuff has come up for me, and it makes me quite not clear to deliver these messages. And then my son got sick again, probably affected a lot by these energies as well. And he's so affected by me all the time. It's annoying. So you probably have felt the shift, even though the shift doesn't feel fun all the time, even if it sort of comes in terms of illness, or it comes in terms of chaotic surroundings or whatever, you will have felt a shift taking place. And that will continue on for the entirety of November. And I feel like it's bleeding in to December as well. So you can probably think till the end of this year that there's a lot of changes happening in the energy completely. Okay, went direct today. Perhaps that has been a part of the block and delay. And I'm going to tell you a couple of things with the block. We're going to really get into this. Thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. Not blah, blah, blah. Beautiful things. Okay, so the first thing that came when I read these questions, or this question, so I really love like you say, you don't want to have like another career. You just want, and then you state really confident, positive statements. Like you really want that. You want employment that you enjoy, where you feel happy and respected, and that it pays what you're worth. And it doesn't feel like you're worth, when you're saying that, it doesn't feel like you're worthy of not much. Like, I want to be paid crap. It feels like you're saying, I want to be paid because I'm worth it, you know? Whatever the brand of that makeup line is, because you're worth it. So it's a good statement. So the question here is not your confidence. It's you're backing up those words. The energy is there. I can feel that. And so the first thing that comes is, so when you say, like, perhaps that's been a part of why there's a block or delay. I find that unless you are being sick, unless you don't actually have a job to go to, unless you are being a little bit like forced into a corner, or like a Dirty Dancing situation, where we put Julie in the corner here, you're gonna sort of be out and about. You're gonna have stuff to do. You probably have stuff to do anyway. Even like you might be the most occupied person without a job. It feels like the main reason for it to be such a slow, did you say that you had almost a year, right? Full-time, you've been out of a full-time job for almost a year. So it makes me feel like you still haven't been completely at home for a year. You've done things. It might even be that you've done a little bit of work here and there and whatever. It just feels like you've been occupied. So it's not sort of like you've been at home for a year. And I feel like Source is trying, your guides are trying to slow you down. They're trying to get your attention. They're trying to slow you down, to put you in enough, like, and I don't want to scare you, and I don't feel this. I don't feel like you're going to break your leg, or I don't feel like you're going to get into an accident. I don't feel that. I'm just saying, it feels like getting sick, or not having a job to go to, or something like that is going to help you to slow down and smell the roses. Slow down and hear what is being broadcast to you at this time. And it feels like it's either that, or you get onto a normal job or a normal occupation in your day-to-day life, and still you find a way to really pay attention, to be in tuned enough, or have your ear to the ground enough, have your intuition awakened at all times enough, so that you can continue and do those things. Then Spirit doesn't have to keep those things away from you. And it's not like Source is trying to like mess your path up, or like this is you asking for this. Source doesn't do anything until you ask for it, or until you sort of have really been clear about what it is that you want. And so I feel like you want to know that you have Source with you. You want to know your spirit team. You want to know your guides like they were your best friends are right next to you. You want to know your full capacity. You want to know that you're the creator of your life. You want to know these things. It feels like it's written in your DNA to know these things. And when you haven't, it's like you reach a certain point in your life and you still, so like you say here, and I understand this, Julie, don't take me the wrong way here. When you say, obviously, so you say this, I have had many, many, many interviews and not one single offer. So right there, you can sort of take, like, this doesn't make sense. Like, in the amount of interviews that you've done, you should have had a job by now if something else wasn't up, if that makes sense. And then you say, I'm trying to stay positive, but the reality is obviously frightening. It's obviously frightening. So your reaction, Julie, and I understand this is what I mean. Like, I'm not trying to like make you feel smaller than or any, like, we want to just really highlight here that when you say it's obviously frightening is because you still don't understand that you're the creator of your own reality. You still think that you need a job in order to get to the money. And 99.9% of the population of this planet, including myself, even though I know it's not true, think at some point that that is the truth. I'm going to say that again. It sounded really messy. So why are you obviously frightened? Why is it obvious that you need to be frightened that you don't get a job? Well, when you're the victim, or when you're the getting a job is the, sorry, I can't find the word. It's the obvious conclusion that if you don't get a job, you don't get any money. And that's the old way of thinking. That's the old version of Julie. So what you're trying to do right now is understand that you're the creator. And how can you understand that you're the creator as long as you have a job, as long as you have so much money in the bank account, as long as, I'm not saying these are the truth in your life, I'm just saying, when can you practice patience the most, if not in a situation where you need to have patience? Which means we need to create a situation that causes you to practice your patience, right? When do you know that you're the creator of your reality? When enough stuff is going on, not enough stuff is going down, that you need to take charge. You can't be sort of you can't be the consequence for energy just sort of doing what it does. You can't be the consequence of that anymore because you don't want to. Does this make sense? I hope this makes sense. Like, you want to know your potential. You want to know your power. You want to know that you're the creator. You just don't want to be a byproduct of other people's ideas and things that they put on this planet. You want to know that you're in charge. And that's the main thing that I feel that you're doing right now. That's the main reason for you not finding a job. You don't have an issue to find a job, Julie. Just hand on your heart. If you wanted a job tomorrow, couldn't you get it? You're probably saying like, yeah, I know. Of course I can. So why can't I? So that's not the issue, right? It's not the issue that you can't get a job. You can't get a job like that if you wanted to. So the thing is here, you're practicing something else. There's something else going on. So we can just sort of, it doesn't take a psychic to understand that something else is going on. Like, we can just see that. We can read between the lines. You've had this many interviews and still don't get a job. Something's up. So the blockage, or you call it the blockage or delay, didn't you? Yeah. So the Saturn, so that helps as well. Like, when is the best time to start to practice? It's so interesting to me, like more and more interesting every day, how much the planets, like the structure of the planets and the solar system and the moon and the sun, and like how much in line, how much in like conversation we are, is mind-blowing to me with these planets and with the structure of the whole universe. So when is a better time to find out that you're the creator of your own reality? Obviously, when every planet is going to help. Doesn't feel like help, but it's going to help you to not naturally bring you a lot of things. It's going to be quite quiet. It's going to be quite hard. It's not going to be a natural flow. It's going to rather be the opposite. It's the ebb of things. It's a natural ebb, but it's still an ebb. And it feels like when you can start to work with the ebb and the flow of the forces, of the universal forces, and when you understand that you're the creator of your reality, when you understand your potential, your power, you will never argue with, argue in the sense that you will never debate or work against any ebb and flow situation. You will just sort of run with the tides as they come, because it's literally all you can do anyway, right? So you can run anyway with it. You can go against the tides, but then it's going to lead to exhaustion. Like, you're going to be so freaking tired. So the main thing that I'm getting first is you've been brought to this stillness and to illness so that you slow down and smell the roses, so that you slow down and start to hear, see, feel, sense what's going on around you. What's up with the body? What are you trying to explore here? What are you trying to figure out? That's the basis of this. We're going to get into the cards and we're going to see what else that's wanting to come out here. So due to this question for Julie, it was a clear when and where was it? You would like some insight, some guidance, messages as to the why and the when. I can expect a shift. So the first thing that I want to say, you can expect a shift when you're making it. And I know that's the most annoying answer you can get. And we can get some sort of answer to when. The why will be easier, but to the when, if you sort of continue to do what you're doing with your energy right now, it's going to have a certain outcome. If you change the energy that you have right now, it's going to have a different outcome. So when people are asking about timing, they don't actually understand how much actual power you have in the timing yourself. So the question is not so much when, the question is, are you in alignment with what you're asking for or not? Are you so sure these days that you're not going to get a job? But that's not the goal. The end goal here, I know you're asking, when do I get a job so that you can get money, right? You're not even saying so that I can get money. It's so ingrained in us that is the ultimate solution, that you don't even ask the question. You're asking for a job that pays well, and it's obviously frightening. It's obviously frightening that you can't get a job. And the underline, you can feel frightened that you don't get a job, but I think for the most of it, you would be quite okay if you still saw money come in, right? So yeah, we can continue to ask when you're going to get this job so that you can get this money. But I'm gonna, for the sake of what I feel the question is about, and for the reason why you haven't gotten it yet is not the question that you ask. The question that you ask, whether you are aware of it or not, is when am I going to be in alignment with who I am? And why are you going to get into alignment with who you are? Does that make sense, Julie? When are you going to get into alignment? And why are you going to get into alignment with who you are? Because that's going to lead to every single thing that you want is going to just naturally, it's just a consequence. You're no longer a consequence. You're no longer a byproduct of other people's realities, other people's creations, and you're no longer a byproduct or a result of your own lackful thoughts or your own feelings of I can't do this. you're starting to become the creator of your life. And then instead you're asking the question, when am I going to get into alignment with who I am? And why am I going to get into alignment with who I am? Because when you're that, everything else, the job, the money, the relationships, the opportunities, the joy, the enlightenment, the satisfaction, all of that will fall into place. I mean, you will still have things going on. You will still have a planetary shift, but the more in alignment, and that's probably why you ask so strongly for it right now, that the less you're bothered by the chaotic stuff that's going on in the ethers, like how dominant are you in your vibration? Well, you know that if, like, I was just talking to one of my sisters the other day, and she was like, I'm so annoyed, because it was a situation. You don't know her, but anyway, I'm not gonna sort of throw her under the bus here a little bit. But like, she was complaining about a situation, and she was like, well, I was starting the day fine. I was in a really happy mood, and I was like running smoothly, like things were fine, things were going great. And then this thing happened, and it really freaking annoys me that this thing happened, because then it sort of sucked the fun out of me. And I was like, well, did it though? Or did you let it suck the fun out of you? So I was like, then you can check in with yourself and see, how steady are you in your vibration? That this thing, this almost insignificant thing can happen, and it throws you off your game. It's there to show you, in fact, you're not that solid, or you're not that dominant, or you're not that anchored in to that vibration, to that fun, like careless, free-spirited, like I'm having all the fun in the world vibration is actually not that solid, because it takes this one thing or person or comment or situation that, is coming in. And she was like, well, I wasn't bothered to begin with. Actually, I was like, I'm not going to go into that. Like, I'm not going to let that affect me. And then she was like, and then slowly but surely it just wore me down. And come evening, I lost it. I was like, well, good for you that it took you some time to lose it. That it wasn't immediate, like a knee-jerk reaction to something that happens, like you have zero control. That it actually took you a moment, and then you even reacted with a thought saying, I'm not going to get into this. And then somewhere along the lines, we get lazy with our thoughts. We get sloppy with the thinking and what we're doing. We're letting some outer situation get to us. And Julie, right now, you're practicing your vibration, looking into who you are. So what does that mean, being in alignment with who you are? And it feels like I'm sounding like a broken record, but it feels like I'm talking about this all the time right now. But when you're speaking, thinking, feeling, speaking, acting the same thing, you're in alignment with your truth. So you're not like deluding yourself. You're not feeling, thinking one thing, saying, acting in a different way, which splits your energy. But you're starting to actually say what you think. You're starting to act the way that you feel, which means that it doesn't really matter if you're really sad. If you're really sad, you feel sad, you think sad thoughts, and you actually say them, and you want to lay down because you feel sad, is going to have a more of an alignment and have a positive effect on your life than if you're feeling sad and you're thinking sad thoughts, and then someone asks you, how are you? And you say, I'm good. You're not good anywhere. It splits the energy in half, and it sort of drags the energy down a little bit. It takes actually longer for you to get out of that than to just be. Have you ever seen a child try to talk themselves out of being sad? They're just full on sad 100% and then it's done. It doesn't sit anywhere. We're just processing the emotions and then we're good to go. You think they're going to cry for the rest of their life, and 2 minutes later, they're happy as a clown and they're off doing something new. We're the ones screwing with that. So, first thing to get into alignment with yourself is, to the best of your ability, and like I say to people, if you don't feel like you have it in you to say it out loud, what you think, or if you feel like me saying this, me saying what I feel it's an overstepping into your own integrity, of course don't say it. If you think it's going to actually literally hurt someone as you speak it, don't say it. But the thing is, when you're acting in a way that you don't feel is when it gets weird. It's when you're saying something that you actually don't mean that you get off center. But if you choose to be quiet, like I'm understanding this is going to have an effect, or if you choose to I'm choosing to just stay quiet and I'm not doing anything right now, that is a choice as well. And then getting into alignment with who you are means follow what you want. It's so freaking simple. It's annoying. Follow what you want. In any given moment, follow what you want. And sometimes you feel like, well, maybe I can't follow what I want right now because I need to do the dishes, or I need to do some washing, or I need to actually have a meeting with this person that I really don't want to see right now, but I have to. Then do the best of that situation. And those situations doesn't have to be that many. You just work on that situation for that moment and get back on track to do what you want. And do what you want in this very moment. You always know what that is. You're going to feel if you want to go for a run right now or not. You're going to feel if you want to go sit down on the couch or not. You're going to feel if you want to eat something and what you want to eat and what you don't want to eat. Like, there's constant information and constant guidance from your inner being at all times. You sort of just have to want to start to listen to what it's asking of you. So the question is not here, we're going to get to the bottom of that as well, but the question is not here really, how can I get a job and when can I get it? The question is here, how can I get into alignment with who I am, and when will I get there? Well, so the answer to your question to when you're going to get a job is when you're in alignment with yourself. Because when you're in alignment with yourself, you don't separate yourself. You don't say one thing and mean another. Things will line up. And when things line up, it doesn't mean that you only line up with yourself. It means that you're lining up with everything else that exists around you. And then you'll attract the perfect job if a job is what you want. Or is it? Is it something else? Is it just the money that you want? So you just skip the job and go straight to the money. You asked to spend the entire reading on this question, and I'm really happy you did, because this runs so deep. What can we tell Julie about this situation, please? Wow. Well, the energy is talking, that's for sure. Epiphany and the Knight of Ariel. I love this. I'm just going to get a couple more and then I'm going to show them to you. What can you tell Julie around this situation, please? So I hear singing, or I hear song. And immediately I'm thinking about singing. So are you singing, Julie? Like, are you a singer? It doesn't mean that you have to be like the next, whoever you want to be, pop star. I just feel like there's something with singing that attunes you. Like when you start to sing, it shifts the vibration in your body. It shifts the vibration in your throat chakra. So the more that you hum or the more that you sing, the better. And it doesn't have to be like for the next concert that you're going to put up. It's going to just be to get into alignment. it works almost like a portal. It works almost like it's a healing for you to sing. What else around this question, please? I'm drawn to another deck, but we're gonna see. I'm gonna do one more round here. There you go. Ten of Raffle, you're happily ever after. This is looking good. I'm drawn to this. What can you tell Julie about this situation, please? Refusing to see, Julie. Refusing to see. Just realized we have 9, 10 and Knight. 9, 10 and Knight on the table. Dedicated effort. Okay. So we have the Epiphany card come out. I'm going to show you which cards came out. Joy through spiritual growth. Exactly what we're talking about. This is spiritual growth that is going on at the minimum. Well, it's going on to the maximum, but like to the degree of what you know it's going on. Like it's all about spiritual growth right now. All about it. This is be a light to others, answers that come through meditation. The Epiphany card. Then you get the Knight of Ariel. There's so much to accomplish. Make a very detailed plan, being watched over by someone kind. And this is someone who's like putting down the gold coins. Like you're planting fields and fields and fields of gold coins. You planted this, like you've asked for this for such a long time. Okay, one thing at a time. And then Ten of Raphael. Love and blessings fill your life. Harmonious relationships with family members, happily ever after. We have refusing to see. And we have dedicated effort. I love this. I love this. Just get stuck there because I love the image of this. So what you need to do right now, like the inspiration right now, is to go into meditation. Go into a place like, but I've already said it for 32 minutes basically. For half an hour I've said, you need to be quiet enough. You need to be still enough. Source is sort of forcing you into a corner where you get still enough to quiet down, to slow down, to listen. And so it's not so much about that you can't have a certain tempo or a certain speed in your life. You can have as much speed as you want, Julie, as long as you listen, as long as you pay attention to what's going on around you, as long as you can hear the guidance. The speed is not the issue. The issue is when you have so much speed and so much in your calendar, so much things to do all the time, that there's no room for listening, or there's no literal possibility for you to even hear, because you're so occupied in your mind, or you're so occupied with your body constantly that like the guidance can't get through. So once you get into, I don't know how much meditation you're doing, but this is like, this very card is asking you, go into meditation, go into meditation, go into meditation. If you find this quiet moment in your mind, if you find this stillness within yourself by taking walks in nature, by all means do that. To lay down and watch the sky, or lay down and have a non-intrusive piece of music on, or sit and just hum or sing for yourself, like whatever brings you stillness, but also so that you can hear what's being broadcast to you. And in this time moving forward, you will have some sort of epiphany. Something will click. And you probably have had these situations before. You just, if you're on this awakened path, you just do. It's like, I think the best thing I heard about someone, like, what is awakening? Is when you are like starting to like, wow, I think I get it. Like, I think I understand. And then someone asks, what is it that you understand? And you answer, I have no idea. I think I get it. Like, something just clicked. What clicked? I don't know, but everything shifted. Like, there was something that, like, wait a minute, like something's up here. So it doesn't need necessarily to be a slap in the face or like a bomb that goes off where we're like, oh my God, I like, you understand something. But some sort of it can be, but I'm saying if you're looking for that, you might look forever. I'm just saying if you're listening and you're getting little glimpses, it's almost like a life puzzle, like a treasure hunt. And one clue leads to the other, and you sort of start to piece it together. And you don't have to have the full picture at once. You just need to look out and listen to what's going on. And you will have insight. You will have an epiphany on what to do. And there's so much to accomplish. Make a very detailed plan, being watched over by someone kind. It's a little bit watched. Sounds like German. Sorry, I'm going to read from the book here. Knight of Ariel. Ariel. I think we have Ariel all the way in the back. Yes, we do. Knight of Night. Situations. There's so much to be accomplished. Make a plan that is methodical and sees over every detail. Slow, listen to this, Julie. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. You may decide it's time to find a better job. Business matters take precedence over emotional ones in this situation. Angels are watching over you right now, so think big. And then we have people like around, I mean, this is a situation, but we're going to read for people as well. A person of great kindness and understanding, someone with your very best interests at heart, loyal, trustworthy, funny, creative, ecologically minded, maybe a vegetarian or vegan. And then we have additional meanings of this card is renewed action. Renewed action. I'm really drawn to that word. Renewed action. Wise investments and being watched over by someone kind. So what this is telling me is that there's the issue here is not you not finding a job, Julie. We have established that. This is you. It's like you need to. Okay, so if you were applying for yourself, if the job that you applied for was you, how would you go about that? Like, what is it you're trying to figure out about yourself? How can you, get deeper into yourself? How can you have a deeper understanding of who you are? And understand that I understand that you feel a little bit like, oh my God, like I need this situation to shift because you need money. As you just start to open up and ask the universe for money, like just let me a hand here until I figure this out, and then just really going to listen to what's going on here. And what this card is saying, you're going to get all the help, you're going to get all the support. There could be a person, a literal person that's just showing up in your world, in your life, that just wants to help. They want to put you on the right path and they want to help you. This can also be angelic. It can be both. It can be that you're a spirit team, you're listening to your spirit team, you're hearing what they're saying, and you're getting guidance. And so you know what to do moving forward. it will lead you to your happily ever after, Julie. This is what we're getting. You're not doomed. You're not out for like a situation where this is just going to really go south. This is going to go as north as a north situation has gone. This is your happily ever after. It's going to put you in a situation where it's like you thought you wanted a job, but it turns out you just wanted to really understand who you were. And keeping a job away from yourself for this long, this is how, is the word tenacious? This is how stubborn, Julie, that you are. It's not about finding the job. It's about starting to pay attention and to listen and to start to realize your own potential and your own power and who you are in this world. And it's taken a moment to get you to slow down. We have slow and steady wins the race. Like I said, it's not about the speed itself, but it's about creating enough space, enough room for you to actually hear what's being broadcast. It's going to lead you to your happily ever after. It's going to lead to deepening of relationships, more understanding, just a happy outcome. On the way there, though, and I'm going to read from the book again, refusing to see. Number 2, refusing to see. So 2 is balance. We need to find balance in the mental clutter, in the mental mind. And I'm sorry, it takes a little bit of a moment here to find. Where is that? There, mental, refusing to see. The keywords to this card is access, decide, impasse, and honesty. Talked about honesty, talked about truth. This card speaks about how important it is to see relationships as they really are, rather than how you'd like them to be. And I mean, if this is not a relationship situation, this is you asking for a job, this is you asking for this change. This is important to see how things really are, not what you want them to be. This is a little bit what I mean with children are just what they feel in the moment, and then it's okay, then it's over. It's like settling into the situation as it is and take it from there. Not being afraid of what's not going to show up in the future, not being like, that's not being in the present moment. This is like seeing things for what they are. This is not always an easy, I know, this is not always an easy or comfortable thing to do. However, in order to make correct decisions in a relationship or in this situation, you must be clear about it. Are you maintaining the status quo even though the current situation may not meet your needs? Are you in an emotional impasse in the matter of the heart? At this time, you may be withdrawing emotionally from a relationship or the situation, or the need to make a decision regarding that relationship. This does not serve your best interests. You must open your eyes and your heart to the truth. By honestly assessing the situation, you'll know just what you need to do. Knowing the truth will make your decision easier and will lead you to more fulfilling relationships. And so we have the happily ever after here with the relationships as well. So there might be a situation for you with the relationships as well, but you're not putting it down here in the questions. What I'm taking away, because this is what we focus on right now, is that when you put yourself in first like, okay, what is this really about? What is it that you're trying to avoid here? Is to actually find out your biggest light. It's to actually find out who you are as a powerful person. And it's like instead of worrying about what is to come or was not to come, to sit right now and start to open up who you truly are, who you powerfully are. And you will start to slow down your mental clutter. You're everywhere in your mind right now, and it will become more and more still so that you can bring those thoughts in. And then we have dedicated effort. So this is like, okay, so how do you want it to be? So instead of projecting on the wall the obvious frightening situation, why doesn't it just as well, why can't it be the obvious beautiful situation? Again, it's saying this is not the easiest thing in the world. It's tough to step out. You will feel uncomfortable as you do that because your rational mind wants to, like, what are you doing? We need to address this. We're gonna die if we don't get this job. So I'm seeing now that I hope that's not messing with the video. Sound is a little bit after the video. I apologize if that's showing up on the screen. So what you need to do is to really start to speak the truth. And if you're even gonna sort of project something into the or onto the future, it's like choosing, like put an effort behind it to just choose to see what you want to see, not what you're afraid of what you will see if something doesn't happen. What you are seeing, is not interesting either if you're not liking what you see. But if you're going to project something into the future, just continue to say what it is that you want, or just stay in alignment with yourself right now, and both will bring you to the best place. Unbelievably, we're over time for one question. I'm just going to get I'm going to see if there's a way to get an answer for the when. When is Julie going to get a job? And it's so now like backwards, because it's about you getting into alignment is when you're going to get the job, is the answer. But we're going to see what the angels bring us. So when is Julie going to get a job? What do you want to answer around this question? When is she going to get a job? Okay. So we have unlikely here. So I'm just going to say this instead. When is Julie going to get in alignment? When is Julie going to get in alignment? When is Julie going to start to listen? Merkaba. Wow. Okay. Get more information. So the unlikely card to me is just talking about, it's not saying unlikely or not unlikely going to get a job or unlikely going to get into alignment. It's not that. It's unlikely that we're going to get an answer to when. So I know this is the toughest thing, and I know you want the black and white answer, but the answer is you have to drop the when. You have to not even focus on when it's going to happen for it to happen as fast as possible. When you're hooked on the when is when you're pushing it away. And this is an angel that just completely in alignment. Like, it's such a powerful image. And then the next one is get more information, because I'm asking then, when is Julie going to get into alignment? When you're going to start to listen? And get more information is the Merkaba, which is that's your makeup. And I'm not talking about makeup. That's your DNA, your Merkaba. That's what we're made of. Get more information. So they want you to get in there. They want you to start to research. Who are you? Put yourself in meditation. Make contact with your inner being. Really get into sacred geometry if you want to. That's like the whole setup of who we are. Is when. Again, I'm sorry for not giving you what you want out of this answer. I am today giving you what you need to get what you want. So Julie, I'm hoping that this is bringing you on the right path, that you feel like you get guidance. And if you're a little bit annoyed with this answer today, go meditate and then go back and listen to it again, or leave it for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Maybe even if you're still sick, maybe not listen to I should have said that from the beginning, but maybe not even listen to this to begin with right now, because then you're not so much like really close to yourself. The brighter you get, the more you're going to hear from this, the more you're going to see, the more you're going to open up those blindfolds. Okay? You're doing really extraordinary well. If you just sort of allow yourself to slow down and start to pay attention, there's a whole freaking gold field here that is waiting for you to be collected. This is you going into a restaurant and order food and going back in and order food and go back in and order food and go back in and order food and go back in and order food. And you've ordered more food and then you order more food. And not one single time are you getting the food and eating it. It just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds in the kitchen. And you're not having any of it. The thing though with this is that this doesn't go sour. This doesn't go bad. It doesn't disappear. You've grown this bank of money, of opportunities, of expansion of yourself in that kitchen. And it's like, just go into the freaking kitchen and get it. Well, how do you get in there? Start to listen. Start to pay attention. Get into meditation. And you'll have an epiphany on how to do this. And if there was a black and white path that served you to know about right now, I would have been given that answer. And I'm not. Okay? Thank you so much, Julie. And I apologize again for it taking a little bit longer than I wanted. But maybe it's divine timing as always. So please be well, and I see you when I see you.